Hello everyone, my name is Viet Cao and my student ID is 101245191. In this video, I'm going to be solving assignment 3 in applied data science that the professor assigned us to do. The goal for this lab exercise, but technically it's assignment, is to practice with pandas functions. So let's start with our assignment 3. So the first task is to download the test.csv file and store it in a data frame named mydf. So what we're first going to do is to create a pandas and then reading the test.csv file, which I'm gonna first to do. I already download the test.csv file. Now I just need to drag it. Just in downloads. If I drag it, maybe like that. Let me say that's number 1. And execute the code. And then the second task is to show the first 5 rows of the df file. So here I'm just gonna do like this. Like that. The third task is to does the first row contain the column names? If not, please assign the following column names to them. So I'm going to do something like this. It's going to be like that. The fourth task is to add your name and a student number on top of your data set in your local file, and show your df with your name and student number as part of the data set. So first I'm going to do is to go to my local file, open the test in Microsoft Excel. I'm gonna create a column right here. No, I'm sorry, it should be a row. I'm gonna create a row. Yes, and then I'm gonna type my student name. Oops, name. Like that. Then student number. And then I'm gonna merge these two. Merge and center. Merge and center. So it's gonna be like that. Student name, Viet Cao, and student IDs 101245181. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna close it, and then I'm gonna drag it here again to update the files. And then when I read the file again like this and execute the code, it should be something like that. So the task number 5 is to use a method to skip the first row and show the df as it was before adding your informations. So it's going to be something like that. See, it's going to be the same as usual as the second task, like over here. It's literally the same. The task number 6 is to show the type of your df file, which is going to be like that: pandas.core.frame.dataframe. Next, we is going to select the value column using 2 different commands. Which one is more object-oriented style? So I'm gonna give you guys a warning, because if we do this first, it's gonna trigger an error, because the data set, it's more like we update the data set. Now it looks like the original in the Excel file that I shown to you guys. So there will be no category, or there will be no column for value. So if you guys want to execute this one, you guys have to go back and do this again in order to show this. So if I do this first and go to code, we execute this first, it showed this, and then we execute this then, and it shows the column value, and then now it works. But give me this. I'm sorry, there's something's wrong with my mic, but I'm gonna keep continue. I had just finished fixing it. The task number 8 is to what is the type of this selected column? And what selected column is the value column. And to do is it's gonna be a float 64. Number 9 is that can we apply both methods as mentioned in question number 7 for fetching the zip code column, and which other column has the same status? Why can we not use both methods for fetching its content? And my answer is yes, we can. It's going to be something like that. That's the zip code. Number 10 is to recreate a new series called brand by combining machine type and zip code series. It's going to be something like that. We combine the machine type and zip code series into a new series called brand, which is good. Number 11 is we create a new series called total by multiplying range and value series, which is like that. Number 12 is we use the following command. So I'm gonna space this. Give me a sec. Use this following command: a dot keep this a dot my df dot head, b my df dot describe, c my df dot describe describe d. Oh no. I'm sorry, it should be described with that, with the round brackets. I was just confused myself. My df dot shape, e my df dot d types, why some parentheses and some don't. What is the let me use my what's the difference between B and C? So let me do this first. Give me a sec. If I do like this, and we will just see it like that. So A, we have my df dot head, B, we will have my df dot subscribe with a round bracket, C, we will have similar to B, my df dot describe without the round brackets, and D will have my df dot shape, E will have my df dot d types. And then overall what it does, and the question is asked like why some parentheses and some don't. What's the difference between B and C? It's because to describe with parentheses will print the result in tabular form, and without using the parentheses it will complete the textual. So it will be something like that. So the result's going to be something like that. Number 13 is how can we use the describe round brackets. The method is to show the statistics for the object, not numerical columns. So it'll be something like that. Number 4 is to rename the ID to my ID in the DF without replacing the ID series name to the original DF, and we have to show the unchanged DF by displaying the top 5 rows. So it's gonna be something like that, like that. Number 15 is to rename the ID to my ID in place and show the change column name using the head method. And we're gonna show the MyDF columns like that. Number 7 is to change all the column names to ID range. Give me a second, let me click on that. ID range to ID range value machine type zip code brand total, and display the new column names. So it's gonna be a bit long, so pause the video if you guys want to take a closer look. So I'm gonna execute my code. It will be like that. Number 18 is replace all the spaces in the column names with and show the change column again. So that will be the result. Number 19 is we delete the brand total columns permanently, and we just did. I don't want to execute this again, because if I execute again, it's gonna create an error that there is no brand or total columns that we supposed to delete, because we already deleted as I just did for you guys. So if I execute the code again, there will be an error. So if I click here, there will be an error. I don't want to see that, because right now we're doing assignments. So same as here. If I click on here again, there will be the same error as this one. Instead, like, you know, the situation is that instead of having the number, oops, I think something, it shouldn't be that. Okay. It's kind of weird that, oh, I actually yeah, this is the error that I'm trying. Well, I'm not. I did not try to show, but then I tried to press Shift Enter and then try to create a new line of code, like line code that I can, you know, that I can call, but then accidentally creates the error. But it's fine. I already like finished this task, so doesn't really matter. Yeah, number 21 is you sort the value series in ascending order and showing only the value column. So it's like that. Number 22 is we sort the value series in ascending order and showing the whole data frame. So it's going to be like that. Number 23 is we sort the value series in ascending order, but instead of just showing the whole data frame, we're going to show the data frame within place too as well. So it's going to look something like, oh, it's supposed to show. It doesn't, but give me a sec. Oh, I guess that's because it's in place, so it doesn't really show. That's why. Therefore, is sort my df data frame based on the range and value in ascending and descending order respectively. We have range in ascending and value in descending order, so it's going to be something like that. Number 25 is display those rows of my df that their range is between 250 and 350. So that's the result. Number 26 is we display those rows of my df that their range is between 250 and 350 in an ascending sorted format. So it's going to be something like that. Number 27 is we display only the ID and value columns of those rows rows of my df that their range is between 250 and 350. It's not the same as this one. Number 28 is we display only the ID, value, and machine type. Columns of those. I think I mistyped those rows. I think that's my bad. Of those rows of my df that their range is between 250 and 350, and their machine type is equal to H. So it's going to be something like that. Number 29 is display those rows of my df that their machine type is equal to H or R or X entire data frame. So it's going to be like that. Number 30th is show my df column data type and display select only the numerical columns. So first it's going to be like that, and second is going to be like this. And so that's the end of the task. So I completed 30 tasks in this video. So thank you guys for listening, and I see you again.